So welcome everyone. This is class number 3 of our first level at PCC, our Drawing Sacred Geometry. I have a couple more people coming in. So we're going to do our little drop-in meditation, and then we will do some shares, see what people have been drawing. I've been getting some amazing emails with amazing artwork. No pressure if you didn't get to anything. And then we're going to look at the dodecahedron today. We're going to draw that marvelous, marvelous shape. And let me just say, when I invite us to do a meditation for a moment, do whatever feels comfortable for you. If it's not, check your phone, whatever. It's definitely not obligatory. This is a time you've given to yourself. So on that note, if it feels good to you to turn your attention inward and really start to take some nice deep breaths. I want to encourage you, if you are not muted, to, I think we'll get everybody going, to put yourself on mute. It helps with the recording. And as we're dropping in, I want you to really use your breath to connect with your body. Take some nice deep breaths in through your nose and releasing out through your mouth. Using that energy to remember that we are in physical form. Most of us walk around completely cut off from our bodies, just in our cerebral process, navigating the world. And I love to breathe and take a moment to connect. Sinking into the surface, supporting you, relaxing on the out breath just a little bit. And just on the in breath, maybe stacking your spine a little bit, opening your shoulders back, and then relaxing that form as you exhale. Just bringing all of your parts into the moment. All of the relaxation and the anxiety and the toll that living this life takes. Just acknowledging yourself for showing up. You made it to this call. You're making it in life. Giving yourself a little credit. A little breath into your heart, a little gratitude for the success that you are creating just by breathing. Feeling into this human experience. Bringing yourself here in the present moment in this human experience. And as you are ready, a few more deep breaths, going back into the visual space. So I am going to lead the way today in saying, I feel proud of just showing up. And whether or not you got to anything in this week remotely resembling sacred geometry or the subject of or the frequency of, everything is welcome as we do our check-in. And I would like to start first just by saying hello to everybody and having everyone hop in just to say hi. It looks like Jill's going to start us off. If you have something to share, wonderful. But just putting our voices into the circle together, into the quantum field, as we like to say here. Yeah, Jill, how are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, so I missed this part of the class last week. And when you say, do I have anything to show? What do you mean?
Oh, did you do any drawings?
Okay.
Or it is not limited to drawings. Did you recognize geometry anywhere? Did it enter your consciousness? Did you have dreams? Were you thinking about it? Were you not thinking about it? Everything's welcome. that's what you do not have to start us off to. You can see what everybody else does. So this is how we launched the class. And I used to not think about homework at all. And then one time I invited people to do it, and the most amazing offerings come through. And I think we inspire each other with the drawings that we do, and it really maximizes the impact of the class. So it's a welcome, it's a check-in, it's an opportunity to show what you have, and it's no pressure if you don't have anything.
Well, from 2 weeks ago, I guess we had a big ice storm and snowstorm. I did this.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking the snowstorm would allow for some creative expression.
Yeah. Then I did this one. I may or may not go farther with it.
Oh, beautiful. I love that it's in the 12-pointed star, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I found so many different shapes and patterns in this.
Yeah.
Just like infinite number of patterns that I could have followed.
Infinite. Yeah.
And then I just practiced this one a couple times because I'm still very uncoordinated with the is it called the compass?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm very uncoordinated with that. So
Would not be able to tell. Yeah, wouldn't have even thought that with your drawings.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So I need to practice that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's why we have the class. Lots of practice.
Yeah.
Thanks for starting us off, even though you didn't know what we were doing. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. She's like, got it out of the way. All right. Anybody like to go next? Yeah, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. I kind of slacked a bit, but I did try to do Metatron's cube in fluorescent ink.
What's happening? Wait, I'm sorry. You have a fluorescent pink pen that you did Metatron's cube in? That is so cool. Yes. Wait, do you need a special type of light to see that, or were you just holding it up?
Oh, ultraviolet flashlight.
Well, of course then. Okay, spectacular. Yeah. Looks great. What inspired you to go fluorescent?
I've been painting wood objects with fluorescent ink.
Oh, spectacular. Isn't it so cool what people are doing? Like in your spare time, I'm just painting wood with fluorescent ink. And
I tried to look. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, are you going to put geometry on the wood pieces or yeah?
A lot of them are spheres that are carved with spiral patterns. I did 20 years ago, I did find that 2-volume set with the secrets of the ancient, let me see, ancient secrets of the flower of life.
Yes.
Is that
down below? Yes.
And I carved a flower of life and then I forgot the name of this.
Oh boy. So excited for what's going to happen.
This guy.
Oh yeah. The star tetrahedron. Nice.
Yeah.
You made that?
Yeah. I thought a block of wood. I was pretty inspired when I read the book and carved about a foot square flower of life. It's up on the wall.
Oh, Mike, you're all in. I love that. Yeah.
I'm getting back into it, but I didn't do much.
Well, that's okay. It's inspiring, right? It hooks you and you got to do more. So you're back at it. I love it. Did you have, okay, so we saw the neon Metatron's cube. That's fabulous. Thank you. All right. Who else? Oh my God, I just love the cats. I'm so happy that there's a cat front and center. Thank you, Brooke. Is anybody else who would like to go next? We got to hear and feel free to jump in and go, I'm not up for it, or put it in the chat and then I'll let everybody know. But I do like to hear. All right, Karen's just joining us. That's awesome. Who is up for going in next? Yeah, Karen, hi.
Hi. I'm just curious to see what this looks like. I did it in pencil. And because things look so different when you hold it up, it's just curious. I have some graphic pencils, so I use different widths. So this is just want to give it a shot to see if it
Oh, spectacular.
does anything.
Yeah, it does some things.
Okay. I love the zoom effect. I want to keep that at home because it somehow adds a dimension,
Yeah.
I think, to the drawing. So that was my experimentation this week, was sticking to pencil, different
Yeah.
grades of pencil.
I love it. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone play around with the different, grades of pencil like that. It's so
Yeah.
cool. It's still pencil, but the
Well,
darker
I've
and
got a
brighter.
whole stack of pencils here, different
Oh
thicknesses.
boy, yeah. Art supplies just turned me on. Oh, great. All right. Great. Thank you for jumping in. It's beautiful. All right, we lost you. Is it me that froze or Karen? Looks like it might have been Karen. All right. So at least it's a good freeze. Sometimes it's so ugly. There you go. Who would like to jump in next? So we get going. Yeah, Summer. So good to see everyone. Hey
Hi,
there.
so I did not do any drawing this last week.
Good job.
I've just been, I had a friend who's going through a really tough time, and so I went over to her house and I did a house check on her, and her her mental health hasn't been doing very good, so I helped her clean up her whole house.
Oh,
I
nice.
did a deep clean on her house, and she's doing, I've been talking to her every day, and I was doing sacred geometry. I went over to her house and we were doing some drawing together, and of just stuff that we've already learned. And then I also have been working on a family member just had a baby. And so I'm working on crocheting their baby a blanket
Oh,
too.
adorable.
So
Yeah.
I haven't been doing any like extreme sacred geometry drawing. I still have my drawing on my table staring at me every time I walk by in the living room.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I took a
That's
little pause.
awesome. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to fix my lighting. Hang on a second. The thing, sorry, I've learned I'm like super washed out sometimes. I'm trying to get my lighting right. The thing with the geometry, right? It's like you're activating all different parts of you. And sometimes it's going to look like creative expression that doesn't have to be drawing. It can be, crocheting. And then also, I'm such a goofball for it, though. I would say it's a part of everything we do. And so, maybe there's just more. I think you're just a baseline connected, awesome human that's giving, to this friend of yours. But like just being able to hold space while people are going through it, I believe that's part of you expanding, and that all of this is part of you expanding. And so I appreciate you sharing about your week. So
Yeah. Thanks.
I don't know if any of that made sense, but thanks for sharing about your week.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like randomly showed up at her house because she's been avoiding, like avoiding talking to me. She was being very distant, and I was like, I know she's going through a hard time, so I'm just gonna like show up at her house and be like, I'm in the area. What are you doing? Oh, actually,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. You have to let me over.
Yeah.
I'm here. You can't make me stop you.
Actually a brilliant strategy, but I think that's what I was picking up on. If I could be so bold, I would
Mhm.
say that working in these fields, working with the geometry on some level is amplifying our psychic abilities, right? Amplifying our ability to tune in to the ones that we're connected to and love and care about. And
Totally.
yeah, so I think that, I would say it's a little bit of, it's definitely related in amplifying innate abilities that you have, right?
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Good strategy too. Yeah, and people are having a hard time, and it's really, I'll just put that plug in. It's really nice to be able to support each other. And things are intense and might get intenser. So all the tools in the tool belt lately, I've been saying. All right, thank you for jumping in there. Who would like to go next? Yeah, Madeline, I saw you first. How you doing?
I'm good. I have just had my drawing from last week out and haven't done anything new, but look at it as I pass by. I did send you an article that I saw on NPR.
Yes.
It was the rest of you, it was the archaeologists found in England the first complete copper dodecahedron, like a 3D hollow, and it's from the Romans, and they're trying to figure out what it's for, and it's just kind of funny to have archaeologists trying to decipher what this thing could be. Obviously it's some kind of mystical thing, but they just can't really say that. They're like, well, is it used for knitting or is it used for
Oh, yeah, it was so ridiculous. It's like, is it a candlestick holder? Like, really, is that
about
what we're doing? Yeah,
it's a grapefruit sized copper dodecahedron made by
yeah,
the Romans, and they've been found all in, I guess, other areas that Romans were. And I thought that was interesting. So I encountered that dodecahedron
yeah,
in my daily life.
yeah.
And
Nice. Keep an eye out for a nice heads
I
up.
know.
Love it. Yeah.
And that's on some BBC archaeology show. So the other
Mhm.
thing is I was doing some origami with some kids that I volunteer with.
Oh,
And
nice.
I've done origami for years, and I started to see it in this like very different light, that
Yeah.
it's very full of these shapes that we are working on.
Very cool. It's just repatterning, right? It's all the yeah, you just start to see things a little bit differently. It's
Mhm.
true. Um, and I love that you sent that. And it's actually, I put it into the slideshow, so we'll be able
Oh,
to
cool.
see it. And when I was in England, right, this past summer, it was a big deal. It was kind of everywhere. Not like it was a claim to fame, but they were really big about it. And nobody knows anything. Now, did you have the experience where, as it sounds like you did, but I don't want to assume, it's like as you're reading an article that goes like, oh, how with the absurd suggestions, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I know it wasn't that, but then if we don't know what it is, then whoa. Like, what are the possible explanations for what that thing? I mean, that could have been a time travel device, right? We just
Exactly.
don't talk about
That-
it, you know?
That's what I was thinking. Like that was the kind of first thing that came to my mind was it's something really not what the scientists are trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. We could say that
Something
about,
mystical.
yeah, we could say that about most of our reality, right? Like, oh, yeah. All right,
I
cool,
love,
thanks. Yeah. And
and I
we'll put
love,
a picture. Mhm.
yeah, I love science. So it's not like I'm not anti-science, but it was just funny, the psychology of the archaeologist are very closed about what they can sometimes see what things are for. Anyway.
I know. We're all doing the best we can. Yeah, I have those feelings.
So
All
that's it.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep, perfect. And I do love that you guys have the geometry out versus in the drawing pad. Makes a difference. My Shriyantras once screamed at me. They're like, you need to be on the walls. So that's perfect. All right. Who's going next? Just want to hear just a little bit from everybody. We got coming in. Got a couple of you. Oh, the cat's gone. That's too bad. How's it going, Brooke?
Funny drawing, but I adopted a rescue dog. So the cat is a little clingy. The dog can't take stairs, so he can't come down here.
Oh,
So
yes.
he's pacing, and every now and then he hears me talk and he gets a little agitated. So I go check on him. But the cat was, needed some attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Expanding the family. Everybody needs
Yeah.
attention. Congratulations.
Thank
That's a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah, for me. I haven't had a dog I've been dogless for about 3 years, and
Mm.
I was all, gung ho, and then I had to drive to Spokane to the rescue group, and of course, the last minute, when the 120-pound animal climbs out, I said, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
But no,
That's
it's good.
more than me.
Good dog. Yeah,
Wow. All
he's
right.
a good dog. Yeah,
That's a big family member.
yeah.
All right.
I've had giant breeds before, so I know what I'm getting into.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Oh, let me see. So Alicia and Andrew are coming back on, and they actually had their drawing in the window, but they're not here right now. So we'll go. We got Hugh and Leiko. Good to see you both. And Carly, we're not on screen though. Anybody, you three want to say hi or just pass, whatever you're up for? All right, Leiko, hi there. Oh, sorry, Hugh. We'll get to you in a second. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Everyone. So proud of Summer for helping her friend. That's a great
Mm.
job. I just drew a little bit of sacred geometry. I was trying to figure out how do I get it on, how do I paint? How do I paint the sacred geometry? This is
Ooh,
something I'm wondering if anyone has any advice, because I'm doing a big portal painting and I would like to include some symbols in there, but I don't know how to just freehand it. So thanks.
yeah,
Yeah.
a portal painting in the house. Yay. Fabulous. Would you be up for at some point sharing it? You don't have to now, but just, watching that
Yeah.
develop.
Yeah, as I get through a couple, I'm in the ugly layer because it
Yeah.
goes through phases, and
Yeah.
I put my intentions in there and I released some things, and now I'm putting in some symbols and stuff and gonna make it look good. So, but I'll
Awesome.
definitely share it.
Okay. Well, we will know where you've gone if you don't show up. All right. So thank you. Hugh, how are you doing? You jumped in for a second there.
I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So, you know what they say, a bad workman blames his tools.
All right.
And the compass I had just wasn't working because the lines weren't dark enough. I had to go to 5 stores to find a compass.
Really? All right.
And once I did, then I have a pencil set. I got out the darkest one, and that helped.
Mhm.
And so what I spent a lot of my time doing was creating a template.
All right. Ooh, yeah.
So I don't have to start from scratch every single time.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, I ended up spending about 5 or 6 hours on this little project and then got back to it again today.
It gets all consuming and you can't walk away, right? It's like,
Well,
oh,
and finally, after about 4 or 5 hours, I said, okay, that's it.
yeah,
It'll be there in a day or two.
brilliance. Yeah. It's usually like 4 a.m. and I'm like, put it down. I walk
Yeah.
away. So, wow, so much effort to get a compass. I love the template. Going to give you a super shortcut today. So that'll make it even easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Awesome. All right. I'm inspired. Let's see. We got Carly and Alicia and Andrew I saw some beautiful art in the room. Carly, how you doing? Just because you're on screen.
Hello.
Hi. Did you finish your school dissertation, whatever?
Today was my last day. I
Oh my
graduated
gosh.
from a 4-year master's degree.
Wow. Congratulations. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oof. Wow. Yeah.
And I did a drawing this week.
Wow. Wow. All right.
It's still
Wow.
in progress, but I
Yeah.
was looking at Metatron's cube and just really inspired by the shapes and the negative space that I was seeing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I just kind of colored in some of the different shapes within all of the lines and all of the
So
forms.
cool. Yeah. Awesome.
So it's
Love
still
it. Love the negative space. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, that's all.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
You know what I love is like that should be your diploma.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like so much better than whatever they're gonna do. God, massive congratulations. That is so huge.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We get to share space in your celebratory day. Honored. All right. Yeah, you could. All right. Well, I'm going to generate ideas for that celebration with the dodecahedron. All right. And then Alicia and Andrew, how's it going? I saw some, I'm going to spotlight you because I saw some things. What are we looking at?
So I just been drawing some things for friends, and
Oh,
I just can't find the pictures of those ones, but at least this one is one that I did.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with drawing. I like the idea of coloring in the negative space and like,
Andrew, can you zoom in on the center there? That's amazing. I just want to see that a little. Oh, I love the colors. Oh yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. All right. And then in addition, because we got 2 in there. Andrew, how's it going for you?
It's been going really well. I'm really impressed, by the way, with the class and everybody with it. Yeah, I've just been playing around with different compasses, different markers, the mindset, the different type of people, seeing what works.
Yeah.
Been looking, going down that rabbit hole, looking at a few of the links.
Cool.
Yeah, just online, the favorite geometry, looking at the dodecahedron universe. Really like the concept. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah. No, thank you. I loved your use of the term playing around, right? Like that's all we're doing. We're just playing around, and that's the invitation. And my thought would be, although I'm not sure it's true for me because I'm a serious person, playing around and being creative, it just loosens up that density, so whether it's with the geometry, just in anything. I love Bashar. I love the teachings of Bashar and Abraham, and they always say, follow your excitement, follow your bliss, follow the good feelings. So whether it's, oh my God, we forgot about Tiffany. So sorry. So whether it's creativity or helping a friend or, researching, like just as long as you're, using this class to do that, that would be my highest ambition, is that everyone's sort of feeling more justified in following the good feeling thoughts, whatever that looks like. So thank you, Alicia and Andrew. Tiffany, I'm so sorry. Maybe you disappeared for a minute. No, you didn't. Hi, how are you doing?
Okay,
You'll finish this
hi.
off. Hi.
I put my thing in the chat. I'm very tired today.
Okay.
But I did get to practice.
Wow.
I'm glad that you sent me the next video.
Yeah.
And I did practice. I'm really having a compass issue. I have like 4 of them, and none of them work very well. And I think I pressed too hard, and it's just a mess. But I did do Metatron's cube a good couple times. So, some of the circles were, off, but
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, I would just want to be a geek and celebrate that, right? Like sometimes when we lead with like, I think Hugh was saying, a bad whatever, it's the blames the tools, right? But you said, oh, I'm having a hard time. And then you're like, oh, I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Just awesome, right? Like
Absolutely.
perseverance, and you got it, and well done, in spite of. Isn't that sometimes the case for life? So beautiful. Yeah. Okay, well done. I'm very inspired by that because I feel I've been fighting to come back because I've been wanting to give up a little bit on the fight for, I've had a really big week. So I'm inspired to keep going, not blame the tools. So, all right. I'm not missing anybody. We got everybody. Great. So we're gonna, I didn't plug my computer in. I forgot the plug. I'm gonna get the plug before we go into the information because I don't want to drop. So just give me 2 seconds. It's right outside the door. I'll be right back.
Summer, introduce your friend. You have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself first.
This is Toothless, my bearded dragon. Every time I start class, he starts going crazy in his tank, like he wants to join me. So I have to go. This is the second time I've had to grab him because he'll start running. He'll run around in the cage, and I can't focus because he's right there in front of me, like scratching at the walls.
That's fabulous.
His name is
not. What's his name?
Toothless.
Toothless. Brilliant. Mom, he's not the only bearded dragon that likes to show up. I have a dear friend who's been doing things with me for years, and she has her name is Lula, and she sits on here in every class. So
yeah, he likes it. He wants to be a part of it.
They're awesome.
He might run off me in a little while.
All right. Well, we all get bored. Okay. Okay, great. So we got a couple more participants. So we're gonna only do a short amount of information today. It's because we kind of already went over a bit of the dodecahedron. I'm gonna show you the icosahedron also. We'll kind of cover it on the way to the dodecahedron. But I think last time I had said both the octagon and nope, octahedron. And the icosahedron get lost when we're drawing all the other platonic solids. So we will pause, I will show you where it is, and then we will go on to the dodecahedron. Let's do it. That's it. All right, we don't need to optimize that. So, oh, we do. All right, I'll do that. Okay. So I was putting this in. Here is the piece. We'll just start with this apparently. Here's the piece that Madeline, sorry, I can't quite see it, that Madeline was talking about. And what I think is so cool, like this, it looks cool to begin with, right? But if you go into it a little bit, like this hole is smaller and has 2 rings. This hole is even smaller and has bigger rings out on the outside. This one has 2 rings. This one has maybe 1 ring. Like, what was this thing used for? Like, I just want to time travel and find out, because clearly it was a candlestick holder. It's just embarrassing when you read things like that. All right. So dodecahedron, back up to it. So I don't want to assume, we are all this is the memory recap. We've got the tetrahedron, octahedron, cube, the icosahedron, and the dodecahedron. And we went over, that they all represent the elements and that the dodecahedron represents the element of ether. And it's really, this is just top secret information. I could be in screensaver, but I do want to go back and optimize because I want to show you this little video. So let me jump back in. I want to show you part of what is so cool about the dodecahedron because it packs perfectly. And let me tell you what I mean by that, or better yet, let me show you what I mean by that. This is a quick 2-minute video, and they are showing us a hyperdodecahedron, which is the geometry packed. It's compressed, right? More dodecahedrons, and it's like a fractalized expression of it. And so the horrible music will stop about halfway through, but let's just watch this amazingness. I don't know if you remember with Metatron's cube last time, there was a slide where there was a 3D Metatrons and they were shining a light and you could see the 2D on the wall, right? So you're going to see that again. A lot of times you can play with lights with the geometry. I'm going to show you, they meet right here. It's a fun practice. This is what I mean. Right, you can see the 2D version of the 3D. There we go, thank God. And that's a really fun play. Oh God, I thought it was done. Sorry. It'll stop. Oh, there it is, thank God. Right, so this is how they just pack together so perfectly. It's so cool. It just drives me nuts how cool this is. Right, like who thought of this? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's so amazing. Yeah, like if this doesn't kind of break your brain about how cool, like the potential complexity of this shape, all of them really, like the way the hexagon packs, we're going to look at that in a couple of weeks. You know, we're just scratching the surface with this class, right? Just scratching the surface. So there we have it, the hyperdodecahedron. I can include that link in the email. I got to come out of the screen share. Isn't that just amazing the way it just fits together? It just, for me, it's just like, oh, it's almost like sacred geometry. I mean, you know, the title sacred, it's just like evidence for God, source, whatever you call it. It's just like, okay, who did that? Like, not us, you know? So let me go back in. I got to get out of the optimize. Okay. So we're going to pause for a moment and we're going to talk about that space has a geometric structure. And this is part of why this information has been kept from us, is still actually, or was, you know, even about 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, this stuff was really subversive, right? This is kept under lock and key because of its power, right? So when you start to understand that there is a geometric structure, then that means that you could somehow harness it, right? So we're going to talk for a quick moment about standard model physics because they're a big part of what helped us get rid of the notion of energy, right? So bless his heart, like Einstein was a part of this this team that, you know, at an early point in physics in the discipline, they were doing a lot of equations, right? And they were coming up with the answers of infinity, right? Their equations were ending in infinite numbers. And you can't have that. You can't base science and empirical data on infinite numbers. And so there literally is a term, it's called renormalization, and it gets rid of the equations that end in infinity. It got rid of the concept of infinity for us, and it's renormalization. It's a real thing. It's 90% of dark matter. That's how that happened. And they did that because that's where the power is. It's where our liberation lies, right? Like if we can harness both energy outside of ourselves and the energy source within us, that's liberation, right? So that stuff has definitely been suppressed. So we're talking about accessing the 90% of consciousness, and we are challenging, right, standard model physics. We're moving in far more into unified field theory, right, where they're understanding that everything is connected, and the thing that bridges both the quantum level and the cosmological level is geometry, because everything has space, and so everything has geometry, right? Well, it gets pretty fascinating. So here's a thought experiment, right? If you had like some sort of magical compactor, like a trash compactor, and you could like compress all of the energy in the universe, right? Like if you could somehow concentrate all of the energy in the universe, like into this, right? Like this small, like if you could concentrate all of the energy, like this would be incredibly powerful, right? There'd be so much energy in this. So as much as our entire universe, as much as the energy of our entire universe, it's the end of the 55th, I'll show you in a second. There is more energy that exists in a cubic centimeter of space than our entire universe compacted into a single cubic centimeter space. All of that is to say, I'm going to show you a really wild slide here. All of that is to say, there is so much energy in this amount of space that if you could just harness this, if you can work with a geometric structure, you can harness an infinite source of energy. And we would move instantly from this paradigm of scarcity and fear and destruction and fighting, and we would move into a society based on abundance of infinite, limitless capacity, energy, and the connectedness. We would understand the interconnectedness. We would be able to connect with our galactic community. This stuff can revolutionize everything, right? So you would get away from the fossil fuels and the dependency on the destruction of our planet. It's just like everything changes. Not only externally, wait, I don't want to move on too fast. Here's a slide to illustrate what I was talking about. This is an outrageous number. If you were to concentrate our universe, the energy density in a cubic centimeter of space is 10 to the 55th, right? But then already pre-existing in space-time is 10 to the 93rd, right? So what that means is there's almost double the amount of the entire universe, of our entire universe, in a single cubic centimeter of space, right? These zeros, like, our brains can't do this. But the whole point is that it's incredibly powerful. This information is incredibly powerful. It could liberate humanity, and that's externally. And so it's kind of like, when you have these powerful concepts, a lot of the times they're hidden in plain sight, like the disclosure through media, right? Like, if they show it to us, we've been informed, right? So learning to notice it. I showed the slide of the dice before. Like, they're like, oh, we've told them that it's the source of free energy. I don't know if you remember the movie Contact, or last week I talked about this, where the movie is about deciphering the code in an auditory response from messages sent out into space, right? We sent out the search for an extraterrestrial intelligence sent out a radio message 27 years ago. We got the information back via the radio. We decoded it, and it created this, right? It created a time travel device, which is the sphere. And then lo and behold, that sphere is contained in a dodecahedron, right? Like really sneaky, but obvious in plain sight information. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make it like that. But they're talking about communication from advanced civilizations that gave us that, right? And then, of course, you have to it just begs the question. It's kind of like what Andrew was saying, is like the rabbit holes are just ignited, right? You just start putting some pieces together of, why is our government building in the shape of a pentagon? All sorts of, hopefully all sorts of questions getting, turned on. Okay, so I put it in twice, right? So this is another piece, like, when you start to contemplate, when you start to ask these questions, unfortunately or fortunately, it begins to unravel the human history, right? And, bless our hearts, like, we've been told some stories, but archaeology, physics, mathematics, everything just starts to unravel. Historians, geology, architecture, like, the stories we thought were real are not. And so all of, the geometry starts to percolate those ideas. When you see it in these ancient sites in England, you're like, wait, what's going on here? And it's hopefully we're chipping away at these stories that have kept us from not looking, Just a couple more things. I must have been really excited about that. I remember in Portland, as I was leaving, there were a bunch of plant holders, like hanging plant holders that were sacred geometry, right? And people would see this and not necessarily know this is the platonic solid element representing the element of ether, and that it holds the liberation to human consciousness, right? But just start to notice this is a fungus that actually grows in the shape of a dodecahedron. Like, what's going on? Like, just starting to ask the questions, like, and just by having this class, right, your field is expanding. And I love to show, like, various examples of art. I think I had this in the other class, right? The dodecahedron is just intimately related to the icosahedron and the octahedron and the cube and the tetrahedron, all of them working together. These are very alive shapes, right? So even if we're seeing these two-dimensional structures and we're drawing it on the 2D, the goal is to remember how alive, how 3D, how multi-D they are, how they're just turning us on in lots of different ways. So this is the dodecahedron related to the flower of life. Finding, as you get Metatrons out of the flower of life, so you get all the platonic solids. So it's really fun to see the direct relationships. And just some of the art, I think it's so great to show it and go, hey, here's a thing you can do, and here's one thing to focus on, all of the negative space or the flower of life behind it, or the Metatron and the spheres. And it's so good to see all of your art, because I'm thinking of your art as I'm looking at this, right? Like, oh, Oh, just everybody's beautiful art. Sorry, I'm just freaking out a little bit. This is the double Metatron's cube, right? This is all of the lines concentrated in there, and then the blue spheres, right? It's just beautiful art. So go online, go to Pinterest, go pinch some stuff and open up your field of possibilities, right? These are stellated dodecahedron, right? The star pointed, you can extend the bits out from the original solid. And this inspired me to just remember that I didn't bring my art this time as well. But because I love the stellated. I love making star points out of the geometries. It's a really fun practice. I thought I had another slide, but that's it. We're just going to get right into drawing. Anybody have anything before we start in? Always like to, it was Alicia's Metatron that had the yellow circles that I was thinking of that we saw. Summer's got her compass out. We're all ready. Everybody got the idea of how powerful this is. I have one more slide. I just do. It's frustrating to me. Hang on a second. Yeah, no, we'll get to it in a second. Oh no, I think I've done this again. Okay, let me do this. So we all good to start? We're all set to, have I lost you all? There we go. Does anybody need anything before we jump into the drawing? Okay, we're all set. Great, everybody's ready. Okay, so landscape orientation, same measurements as last time. We're gonna do 1 inch wide on your compass, so 1 inch radius. And it's just the same measurement so that we stay on the page, right? And you want to find, measure your way to the center of the page. And if you're, so that's for all of us, hopefully at the 5.5 mark, if you got your ruler on the vertical, 5.5 mark is going to be the center point. And then I will bring us up, I'll bring up some paperwork and 1 inch radius, center of the page, and there's your first circle, but stop there, right? I want to get the PDF in here. I like it better. Yeah, here we go. All right. There we go. Okay, so drawing our single circle, and if you want to draw things kind of light, because we'll be focusing on the lines later on, and it helps the dodecahedron pop. This is that skill set of knowing when to make a light line versus a dark one, and that only comes from practice. So just doing the single circle, we're not doing the seed. And remember, I can only see 4 of you, so stop me if I'm going too fast. We've got our single circle, and now what you're going to do is we're going to kind of look like we're starting with the seed of life, but we're not. What you're gonna do similarly is put your compass at just the bottom vertical. You can eyeball it. Compass goes on the circle at the bottom, and then you want to make a half arc, right? We don't need the whole circle. What we want are these 2 intersections on either side, right? We actually don't need the whole half arc, but we do it as we're learning. Just makes it easier to track what we're doing. So if you'd like to darken in those 2 intersection points, we're going to use those. And now we have 2 points, right? And you need 2 points to make a straight line. So we're going to make a straight line that's going to be probably on the vertical axis, right? It might not be perfect, but your line is going to go up and down. Let me tell you the length of that line. It's going to be the same thing that we did last week. We're going to make a 9-inch line, and you want the 4.5 inch mark to meet up with the center point of the circle, right? So you remember that step we did. We're going to divide the shape in half by, with a 9-inch line, and the 4.5 mark, the middle mark of that line is going to line up with the center point of the circle. So we've all got something that looks like this. Again, it does not have to be perfect, right? My lines usually wonk a little bit to the right. They're just never perfect. We're going to surrender perfection, just like life. Got this one. Now this has given us the 3rd compass point right up at the top at that intersection. You're going to put your compass at that top point, and then you're going to make a half arc, right? Just like we did down below, little half mark. Half arc, because all we want are these points of the intersections, right? So just those, we've got 6 points now. We've got the top and bottom, and then we've got the right and left on the top and bottom. Once you've got those, I believe I skipped a step here, you can erase the arcs. Like go ahead and erase the half arcs. You want to leave the center line, but erase the half arcs. So all you want is a circle with 6 points. Darken in those points a little bit because we're going to use them in the next step, because we're making 2 more 9-inch lines. And you're going to use those coordinates, right? You're going to use the top right point and the bottom left point, and you're going to connect those points with a 9-inch line. And what I mean when I say 9 inches is that the 4.5 mark lines up with the center point of the circle. Right, so we've given ourselves 6 points because this is a 6-sided shape, right? This is the Flower of Life Metatron's cube. It's based in a hexagonal structure, 6-sided geometry. So we've given ourselves 6 points. Then we can bisect the line, vertical, right diagonal, left diagonal. If you want to take a minute to try a little precision, you know, fine tuning the ruler, awesome. Also no need to. But without the seed of life, you can recognize that we had this structure before in last week, right? We just don't have the seed of life in there, so it gets a little bit cleaner. Summer, I love having the camera right there because I can use you as a gauge for everybody drawing, which is fabulous. Usually I just have the heads down as well. Heads down, heads up. All right, looks good. We got some heads up. So I've got this. Now you'll remember this step from last week. What we're going to do is we're going to put the compass, the pencil at the intersection of the line and the circle. Your compass is going to fall on the line, and that's going to give you this shape, right? So you're going to get that single standing circle because your pencil, we're kind of anchoring with the pencil point now. Pencil goes at that intersection of the circle and the line, and then your compass falls on the line, and that gives you this shape. And then, of course, we're going to do that 5 more times. So then you're going to get this shape. So these beautiful independent circles. Now, I'm going to talk while you're drawing, and what I'm saying is just kind of adjunct, right? So you don't have to pay attention to this detail. I love to prioritize the circles kissing, right? Like I like to try and make it perfect versus overlapping a little bit. And what that takes sometimes is a little bit of fudging with the compass on the line, right? Like, so if you like you can kind of tap the compass to the left, see if the circle's right matched up, but that might mean you adjust the compass point a little bit. So this is just a way to play around. You can go straight up, compass on the line, and there might be a little bit of an overlap, which is totally fine. But I just want to give you permission to fudge, right? Like permission to shift a little bit, right? And kind of flex with how you want to play with this. Like which parts do you want to focus on? Kind of like the negative space, positive space. All right, looking, we got some heads down, looking great, some good concentration. By week 3, even with all of the diligent practice on Tiffany's part, like we've all been going for it with a couple of drawings, even if it wasn't last week or the week before. My hope, my suspicion, and my experience with the classes is that it starts to get a little easier. Starts a little more familiar, right? Your hand in the compass, it's such a weird motion, but you start to get the hang of it. And remembering to breathe is always a fun next level of application. Because the more we breathe, we're going to feel it in our bodies. It's always hard to do that in a class because you're kind of monitoring everybody else and you're trying to keep up. So I still see a couple more heads down. Now, remember, part of why this class works is because everybody gets to the shape at a different pace. And if you get there sooner and you're waiting for everyone, you can breathe into the shape because the symmetry is harmonizing your system. Just by drawing this, you are entraining your system into harmony and balance and coherence. And that's where we can find our deepest wisdom. Whether you consider that channeling and opening, or you connect more deeply into your body, feeling the symmetry, or also none of that is true and you don't feel anything, just giving yourself a moment to breathe with something symmetrical is powerful. We don't get to do that most of the time. All right. People stepping back, looking at their creations. I'm going to take that as the sign to go to the next step. Please let me know if you need more time. We are going to repeat that step. Remember last time we only did it on the outer ring, right? But we did it on the inner circle. Now we're doing the same thing again. Pencil point goes at the intersection. Your compass point is going to fall on the line. It'll fall either right on it, maybe a little bit past it, maybe a little bit short. But that's the step you want. That's going to give you that independent circle, right? Your shape will look like this. Pencil point anchoring the shape, compass point falls on the line. You make that next circle. These ones can be a little bit less perfect, right? Because they're not bumping up against anything on either side. And then, of course, you want to do that 5 more times. And this is going to give us that shape of 13 circles. Now, if you go into probably Junvalo Melchizedek's work, which is what Mike was referencing earlier, right? Junvalo Melchizedek, Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life. A lot of this information is in there. However, it's dense. And so part of the reason that I love the Spirit Science YouTube channel is because it breaks it down into really user-friendly terms, like user-friendly, accessible information, like the keys of Enoch and the emerald tablets. Like this is all like very esoteric information with strange cryptic language that if we were to try, we wouldn't be able to figure out because that's mystery school stuff. That is esoteric knowledge. So each 13 circles represents a functionality. It represents an aspect of our reality and our cosmology, which is to say that every single element of our reality is contained within one of these 13 circles, right? And I don't have that information. I feel like that's one of my learning curves, but that is in Spirit and Science. That is in one of those videos. So we've got these 13 circles. Looks like everybody's got this for the most part. Taking a breath with that. 1 or 2 more circles. All right, loving the technique. Looking good. I don't want to rush you. You know, I just talk and tell stories while we're drawing it all the time. And if you get to this shape ahead of time and people are still working on it, take a breath into your feet. Look at this thing and take a breath all the way into your feet and bring yourself into your body and play around with the idea, the thought experiment that you could feel this shape somehow in your body, right? We looked at how the phi ratio in the golden spiral, that's our DNA, right? That shape is in this shape. And so what about the idea that somehow you could connect with your DNA through this shape, right? Like play with this stuff. It can go as far as you want to go, and opening up your pathways, opening up to the potential. Just good stuff is going to come from that. All right, let me pop out. Everybody got this? We ready to go into the lines? Fabulous. Rock on. Here we go. So we're going to all the same color, right? All the same color. We're going to do our hexagons. We're going to do the outer hexagon. You're just working with pencil, right? Connecting those lines like we did in the first Metatron's cube, right? So here's the first platonic solid. It's in there. We're going to see it built out. Those of you who have dark leads and light leads, I would suggest that this is still a light lead. and that you want to do one of the darker leads when we get to the dodecahedron, right? Or we're going to use a colored pencil to highlight the dodecahedron, but we're going to use Metatrons as the backdrop for it. Right? So we've got our hexagons. In one of the classes, I might have mentioned this last time, in one of the classes in the next series, we do the tesseract, right? Which is a hypercube, which is based in this basic cube, right? And the idea being that you're shifting your perspective into the, into the 2D, into the 3D, into the 5D, into the 8th, 10th, 11th, 22nd, whatever, broadening your perceptual capacity to understand that there are other dimensional realities right here, right now, and that we do have the technology internally to travel into those different dimensions. Like, you want to go as far as you want to go. Geometry will take you there. All right. I think we're going to go ahead. We've got our hexagon. All right. Now we're going to do the upward facing triangle, right? Tetrahedron facing up. Staying with the single color, just the pencil. And you can do this, if you're comfortable, if you're able, you can do these lines light, right? Like all of this was the rock star last week, but all of this is the background for the dodecahedron. Like, it all fades into the back. So we've got our upward facing triangle, and I believe I'm showing you the way to the icosahedron. Right, we got our upward facing triangle. Okay, one more line. There we go. Taking a nice deep breath with that. Then I think we're doing the downward facing triangle, right? Here's our Merkaba, here's our star tetrahedron. So we're activating our light body again, right? Kind of hard for our brains to get that we're drawing this 2D shape, and that 90% of our subconscious reality is getting turned on. That 90% where our light body lives, the genetic heritage of this technology within our DNA is getting turned on. Like, the level of activation here is really beyond our perceptual awareness, which is why I kind of go on and on about it. So we've got upward facing triangle, downward facing triangle. Tetrahedrons actually gives us our star tetrahedron, gives us the Merkaba, our light body, our travel system throughout the universe. Then give yourself one more downward facing triangle on the inside. You remember we had the outside larger tetrahedron, and then there was a smaller inside internal tetrahedron. Right, that downward, do not go ahead with the upward facing triangle. I want to stop and show you the icosahedron before we do that. Sometimes we get eager and excited and we get experienced and we're going for it, but stop here, because I'm going to show you where the icosahedron is, and then we'll go ahead. Like, you're not going to do this one. You'll have the PDF if you want to, but I'm just going to show you and we're going to move on. So if you've got that downward facing triangle, here's how you would highlight the lines to make an icosahedron, right? So I don't even know how to explain it. So this is creating a 20-sided geometrical structure, and it's on a bias. So, some of the angles look a little weird, but without the circles, it looks like this. This is your platonic solid, the element of water. We weren't able to highlight that last week, but this is where it is. And like I said, you'll have the PDF if you want to draw this and play with this one. If your whole system goes, oh my God, the element of water, yes, then here it is for you. But as for now, we're going to go ahead moving towards the dodecahedron. All right. So you had the downward facing inner triangle. Now we're going to just keep going with the upward facing inner triangle. Right, so it's same as what we did last week, right? Did not put in that. I didn't do that. Yeah. Let's see. There's one step I wanted to add. Here we go. Star tetrahedron in the center. You're all getting to be absolute professionals by now. It's coming easier and easier. I love it. I don't have like the super stressed out faces that we did last week. It's like you can tell when everybody's freaking out a little bit to keep up. And as you can tell, there's like a sort of a natural evolution. Don't worry if you're not necessarily feeling that. I can just, sort of see it in a couple of us. So upward facing, downward facing. Now, what are we doing? Now we're going to put in the 12 lines. You remember this was the third shape with the third color. So we're starting from the outer. You're coming down and across to the star points, right? So it's not highlighted in the color, but you did this last week. You can find it. It parallels the center line, right? So from the top down and across to the inner star tetrahedron points, right? There's a little convergence of a couple points here. It is the center point of the second ring of circles, right? So if we start it with the first circle in the center, you come out to the center ring, or sorry, the center circle. Sorry, the center of the second ring. That's where that line is ending. So you have that one. Now you're just going to go around all 5 sides, right? Here it is again on the right side. We're just going to do that shape going from, point to point, just like we did last time. And it's building on the skill set, right? It's a little bit harder without the color differentiation. So start at the first one, and you're going to move around and you're going to do that same step. And if you'll notice, the star tetrahedron ends the triangle. And you guys did this last week. You can get it. It's a little bit different without the color. Top, then the right, then here's the next one across. Whoa, that's huge. Then I don't think I gave you another one. I think I got us started on the 2. Right, and then you're just going to keep going with it. You got to find your way, but you've done it once before and you can find it. Here we go. And take your time with it. Remember to breathe. Have some compassion for that little party of freaking out. The critical voice, the inner judge that runs all the time. We can really celebrate the success that we're doing this. And if you're feeling lost, hop in, tell me, we can go back, we can do anything. Everything's all right. I'm editing myself heavily right now, but everything is going to be all right. All right, I'm going to do a little looking at everybody, working on this step. All right. Looking good. Like everybody's hanging out with it. Great. Moving around. Mike, how's it going? You're hanging out. You good? Okay, awesome. I can't see Carly. Gosh, my screen is working. All right, looks like Hugh's working on it. Bunch of us working on it. Awesome. Yep. Now, your shape probably looks a little bit different because I've added in here in kind of a backwards way the last step, but I don't want to rush you. We're going to stay here for a minute. The last step is that there's this internal hexagon here, right? And what I'm going to say is you don't technically need it for what we're doing with the dodecahedron. If you don't have that inner hexagon, it's okay. I put it in as the last step because energetically without it, I could feel it, right? And I want you to have the officially right shape, right? So we had to go in after the fact and do that inner hexagon. But do it after you get all of the star points that we did, that last step that we did. I just wanted to say, this looks a little bit different. So once you've got that last ring, right? Come on in, find the hexagon, and create that boundary. Although I was very conflicted because you really don't need it for what we're going to do. I just like being complete. Maybe it's a little anal retention. I don't know. We got that. All right. Hugh, how's it going? I can see you looking. Your thumbs up. You all set? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. I always ask a question now. How's it coming? Thumbs up? Okay. Awesome. That's what we love. We love thumbs up. I really miss having the class in person though. All right. All of us got this. Anybody need to pause questions? Looking good? Are you all that amazing that we all got it? That's fabulous. If you didn't, let me know. If you want to just write it out, go back on your own, that's perfectly fine too. So we're going to go ahead now, right? So we're going to choose a color. You're going to choose your color to highlight the dodecahedron with. And I'm going to show you the step ahead of time. So I'm going to show you what we're doing and then we'll do it. So here we go. The dodecahedron, I got to find the right sequence. Sorry. The dodecahedron is the most top secret, you're seeing on my files, is the most top secret shape because you have to know how to add 6 lines. All right, so sequencing the dodecahedron only. Here we go. All right, you have to know where to add these lines, right? So I've highlighted them in red. Let me, one second, because I have a thing here that I want to show. I want to help out by doing this. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, let me find it. Let me get down to our dodecahedron. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to show you what we're working with here. I want you to try to find these diamonds, right? They're just above the inner hexagon. There's 6 of them. And it's right where the inner ring of circles touch, right? It's right at that kissing point. It's a diamond that faces out. There's 6 of them. Just go ahead and locate them, right? Kind of familiarize yourself with these 6 sort of diamonds, right? You'll get the hang of it in a second. I'm just giving you the right? I'm just inviting you to orient to these 6 diamonds because we're going to be drawing a line and cutting them in half. So the red lines are what you want to do. Sorry, the image changes a little bit. You want to draw a bisecting line through those diamonds. Right, so just like you're seeing here, it takes a minute to find it. You can see why you don't ever do the dodecahedron in the first class, right? It's just too many lines to find. And this is the top secret information. Initiates had to study for years in order to get this information because you remember, it's so powerful. It holds the keys of liberation and you can begin to really manipulate space-time with this shape. So finding all 6, we've got the 2 vertical angles and then we've got the 2 diagonal axes on the bottom and the top. And really highlighting them with your color. I want to say, if you feel confident about where the line is, you can make it a nice dark line. You can also go back and darken lines in, so don't worry about it either way. But these, we're creating the outlining form, like the boundary for the dodec. All right. It's like we're finding all the shapes. Takes a minute. You can see it's a little bit of top secret information. All right. Finding all of them. Most of them, we got it. Taking a nice deep breath into all of it. A few more lines, a few more heads down. If I ever go too fast, you just jump in and slow me down because then everybody else gets a chance to breathe. We love breathing. Okay. Got most, looks like, ready. Okay. Jump in if you need another minute. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to show you again. I'm going to show you where we're going to focus. Right here, there's an intersection, right? These 2 big, those last cross sections that we did, they're going to come together right here. It's an intersection just above the outer circle. We're going to be playing with that, right? So here I've highlighted it. We're going to be playing with that top intersection here. And down here on the right, I've highlighted it. Then down here on the left, right? 3 different points because it's a 6-sided shape. So what you want to do is start from those points and darken in the line coming into the center on the top vertical and on the bottom diagonal right and left. So starting at those intersection points, bringing it into the center, darkening in that in, that's going to give you some of the dimensionality, right? When we're creating another cube element in there. So cool. I love this thing. Just step by step, and then poof, all of a sudden you've got a dodecahedron. Like back engineering. Oh, so much talking. I've been talking all day. So have all of us. Right? Okay, we got those 3 lines. Brilliant. Okay. Now we're not creating anything just like that line. We're going to just be darkening in. So I'm going to show you what the next step. What you're doing is you want to find these lines. These lines start at the little tip of the bisected diamond out there. They start out there, and then you're just darkening in that pre-existing line, right? Both of those pre-existing lines that connect to the diamonds, right? That's why you need that last skinny triangle step, right? The third shape that we did last week, you know, the third color. Those are what give us the basis for the dodecahedron. Same thing, you want to do it on the top, and then the bottom right and the bottom left, right? We're not doing it on the top right and left. We're doing it center top, bottom right, bottom left. And it's so cool because the lines are already there. You just got to take a minute and find them. And we're meeting up with the intersection points of the previous step. The start, the stop points of that inner step. Looks like everybody's gotten it. Awesome. And if you notice, sometimes different lines come easier. It's harder to find. Super concentrated in there. You can see why we do the dodecahedron through the shortcut, right? Because if you've got the seed of life in here, it's going to make it really hard to find these lines. So that's why I use this strategy with the dodecahedron. Plus, it's just nice and fast. You can just get right in there and do a nice Metatron's cube when you're waiting at the bus stop. Like that. All right. I'm seeing heads up. Looks like we've got it. Most heads up. Okay, thumbs up. You got to tell me with your voice if you need another minute, but we're going to go ahead because now we're just filling in the boundary, right? Here's where it really comes together. You're just going to connect these lines that are already there, right? You're going to draw them in, right? You're connecting those diamond tips, and you're just going around and you're making that boundary for your dodecahedron officially. It's hard because I go from the red to the black and it's a different image, but that's what we get, right? So you can darken these lines and it really makes the dodecahedron pop a little bit more. But that's it. You're just doing the boundary. Beautiful. You've got your dodecahedron. Sometimes it takes a minute to get the dimensionality of it to cut the angles right. But how cool is that? Let's see everybody's dodecahedron. Oh my God, oh my God, that's so great, Summer. All right, wait, Mike, come back. Let me see. Let's see it. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, what do you think? You're muted though. I can't ask you a question, then you can't answer.
Yeah,
what do you think?
This is great.
One, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do one of those in neon.
I don't think you could freehand draw that any other way.
Yeah, so fun, right? All right. Who else? What do you got? You want to share? No pressure, but isn't it cool? You just love seeing everybody's. Summer, what do you got? It's right there. Just hold that thing up. Oh, yeah. What do you think? Muted still. Orange, yeah. There you go. No, you're not muted yet.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted, yes.
That was
Matches
fun.
your nails. Sorry.
Oh, it does. That was an accident.
Maybe not.
Here, let's see if I can get it brighter.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice and orange.
Maybe you're feeling some second chakra a lot lately, feeling some strong in your roots, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No coincidences in this world now. Yeah. How do you like it? What do you think? Sorry,
I like it. I think that it's bright. Feels very, I want to figure out a way to find some like shading in it to add a little bit more dimension.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of dimension in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's only the beginning.
Only the beginning.
So many places to go. All right. Thank you. Oh, all right. Let's see. Anybody? All right, Madeline. Oh my gosh, but you got to come off mute to tell us what you think. All right. Let's see. Wow. Sharp. Looks good. What do you think?
Good. Oh, is it unmuted?
Yes,
Am I
you're
unmuted?
unmuted. Yes.
I just realized, if I do it again, paying attention to detail, because I had to fib some of the lines to make them,
Wouldn't be able to tell that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the angles, like if you make one a little off and then another little off, and then pretty soon your diamond is like this was I don't know if you can see right here. This is not much of a diamond.
Yeah,
I had
right.
to kind of create a diamond, but anyway.
All right. Well, those are all the things and the flaws. Tell us what you love about it.
I love this shape. I don't know. I want a three-dimensional version of it now.
You know,
like
right?
Paper, make a paper one.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad. I always have to invite the positive when we lead with the here's where I screwed up. When I did the class in PCC in 3D, I would bring those kids kits of the balls and the rods, and we did a dodecahedron together. It took a lot of people, and it was always an interesting case study in how we get along. But it's really funny. It's really enjoyable to draw them and make them
like marshmallows and toothpicks or something.
Marshmallows and toothpicks, exactly. Q-tips. It's really, yeah. If I say go for it, if you feel that, because it is really fun. I have a 3D one. Maybe I can grab it before we finish up. But beautiful. I wouldn't have noticed any kind of asymmetry there if you hadn't pointed it out, just for the record. All right. Anybody else want to jump in? I'm going to say this now so I remember. I would love to take a screenshot of everyone's dodecahedron at once, and that gives you the ability to either hide your face or share with it. It's really fun, but I don't want to rush anybody sharing. All right. We'll hear from everybody who wants to share, and then we'll do it, Madeline. Perfect. Anybody else want to jump in? I don't want to put pressure on you, but it's good. Awesome. All right. Can I get a show of hands who'd be willing to? Oh yeah, Alicia and Andrew, you coming up? Yeah, let's see. Spotlighting. Here we go. Yeah, what do you think?
I love it. It's beautiful.
Nice. So much going on, right? Yeah, sharp. What are all the notes? Yeah.
Oh, those are just kind of step by step how to reverse engineer it for.
Oh, brilliant. All right.
But it reminds me of that string game that you play as a kid, eventually you get cat's eyes. You ever played with one big loop string and then the way you put it on your hands? I wish I had
fun.
that.
I've always wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So they create different three-dimensional shapes, and so I'm kind of curious. I mean, are the structures the same in some way?
Questioning the structures of things. Yay, we have accomplished our mission.
It's called the cat's cradle.
Yes, cat's cradle. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. I thought maybe your notes on the left were like the channeled information coming through as you were drawing it.
I wish. I will only wish.
I know, me too. Andrew, how's it going? How are you doing, cameraman?
Oh, I'm super. I'm gonna pass on showing though. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for the assistance with Alicia showing hers. All right. Let's see. Anybody else want to share? We're going to get into, yeah, Brooke, it looks like you're holding something up. Is that a yes? There we go. Hang on, spotlighting. All right, and you're on mute. So if you want to, I love how they're blue with your lighting. How'd it go? How do you feel?
Oh, the shaded, I felt compelled to do some shading. But
Yeah.
it's a nice stable shape. You can't knock it over.
Oh my God, I love that. I've never thought of it that way before. Yeah, so that's just like preliminary shading, kind of what was Summer was talking about. It just makes
Yeah.
it so like it doesn't take much to make it so 3D, right? What do you think? Otherwise, how does it feel?
I like drawing it. I wish I had drawn some of the background lighter. You know, now that I know the process, next time I can do that.
Yeah.
Or I could go in and erase some of it, but the shading, I think I'll add some more colors into the middle of it and kind of ombre the flat planes, the edges to the centers would change color.
Absolutely. One trick along those lines is draw Metatrons kind of regularly, right? And then erase it, because you'll have made lines, you'll have made indents enough so that you can find what you need for the dodecahedron, and then it's all gone, you know, enough. So yeah, that's what I did with this one. It just, I drew Metatrons, and then the guidance was to just erase it, and then the dodecahedron was right there. So awesome. All right, anybody else want to share? We're gonna do a fun last little most significant shape in the universe in the last half hour. Leiko, do you want to show us what you got? You got to come off the sponge. It's not sponge, it's cloud. What's it called again? Blur. No, Leiko. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Let's see it. Oh, well, we just got small screensaver. Did I do that? No, that's you on blank. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in while Leiko's taking her blur off? There she is. All right, here we go. Let me spotlight you. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this one too.
Yeah, what do you think?
Awesome. I used watercolor pencils, so I blended it a little bit. I like it.
I love it. So the watercolor pencil, so you're doing the shape in a pen, and then you blur it with water?
Well, it's a watercolor pencil, and then I use this this pen that has water inside of it. So
yeah.
Then I just kind of
oh my God, I love
really
art
quick.
supplies. Oh,
Really
that's
fun.
fabulous. Really fun. Yeah. Brilliant.
Looks like tie-dye.
It looks like tie-dye with the watercolor. Yeah. I love that. All right. Anybody else want to jump in? No pressure. We're gonna look at the vector equilibrium. Let's do a thing if you're up for it, for those of us who showed, if you'd be up for me taking a screenshot and holding your dodecahedron up kind of close enough so that it's in the camera. Your face can be in it or not, but please, let's do a little screenshot if you're up for it. I'll give everybody, well, all right, everybody's coming in. Jill, you want to jump in? Alicia's gonna do hers. Hugh has his purple on, which is great. Let me just find my way to get this. Don't move, don't move. All right, here we go. Jill, do you, okay, hang on a second, 1 second. Now don't move. All right, here we go. I'm gonna screenshot it. Wait, don't move, because last time I learned I have to have a better face on, like I did it with me having a terrible face. Okay, here we go. Hang on, bear with me. Yay! All right, awesome. Thanks, you guys. Brilliant. I will include that in the email. I'll send that to you guys so you can see it. Hopefully it works. I think it works. Let's look at the vector equilibrium. It's so fun. It takes a second. Now I'm going to do this in like 10 minutes. And it's kind of an, what's the word? An abomination to try and talk about this shape in 10 minutes, right? So there's a lot more to this, but we're just going to sneak it in because we usually have a little bit of time after we do that Metatrons. So this is coming on my screen share. This is, oh, I think I need the maximize the thing. And I know I had it up. Hang on 1 second. I don't. So the vector equilibrium, right? We're going into PowerPoint singles, and then here we are. The vector equilibrium, if we're talking about the dodecahedron as the structure of space-time, the vector equilibrium, which is also called the cube octahedron. I'm going to just go into my screen share and optimize because we're going to watch a little video, I think. Here we go. It is also called a cube octahedron because it is a cube and an octahedron mashed up together. So it is called both the vector equilibrium, which literally means the line segments, the vector, equilibrium being of equal length, that it carries the same, you could say frequency, but that's not what the right way to say it. I guess same length is just the best way for now. So this is the only shape where every single line is the same distance. It's the same length, and that's actually really remarkable. But the lines from the outer to the inner point, they look different, but they are all the same length. And what that creates is an oscillation of like equilibrium as well. This thing can generate and sustain itself and create that singularity right there, that point of energy. It's like this is considered to be a black hole, right? This point right here, this point of singularity, this is where physics and metaphysics meet. This is the point of stillness that has an infinite source of energy, right? So here's where it is in our shape, right? I'm going to break down this video. Here we have the star tetrahedron, right? And you take this thing apart.
Sphere. And I looked at what geometry was produced in the middle.
Right?
No tetrahedrons were distorted.
Right there.
And the resulting geometry in the middle is a cube octahedron.
Right? So cube octahedron kind of embedded in our star tetrahedron. And this is basically the source of 0-point energy. It's like the structure of space-time, this shape that we're going to draw. And
Sphere.
there we go. It is in the star tetrahedron, which is in the flower of life, right? So ultimately we get to draw this 2D, the 2D version of the flower of life up on the left. We're going to draw the flower of life next week, but this shape is embedded within all of this, right? Like when we start out and I say, okay, the seed of life is literally the fundamental pattern for all of the geometric structure in space-time. It really is, because you can get the vector equilibrium in it. And this point, right? Like I said, this point of singularity, there is so much happening in here. This is where we exchange information. This is actually like the shape of abundance. This is the shape of infinite wealth, infinite source, infinite energy. It liberates us from all of the dogma, all of the paradigm, all of the prisons that keep us limited. There's quite a few. So it's harnessing, right? Like kind of with the dodecahedron, this is harnessing space, an infinite source, both in the cosmos as well as within us, right? This is, like I said, where physics and metaphysics meet, right? Because we are all seeking that point of stillness, that still point of infinite access, right? We have all of this within us. We have all of this in space-time surrounding us. This is tapping all of the invisible information that we have not had access to. Drawing these geometries on subconscious levels is tapping us into that infinite source of energy within us. This shape is so cool. Dare I say, even cooler than the dodecahedron, right? That's a bizarre claim. Cool in its own right and totally unique. It is the only one where each length of the each line segment is equal length, and that perfection lets it sort of self-generate and oscillate and create energy, like what's another word? I think entropy, right? It's never going to go away. That point of singularity, it's just infinitely available, changing our whole world of scarcity and Yeah, changing the scarcity paradigm. So we're going to draw it, and you're going to see, like, if you look with certain eyes, the dimensionality of it. The blue is a blue, there's a plane, right? They're different planes. The green is a whole other plane that cuts the shape in half. And then the red is a plane of existence throughout the shape, right? So again, 2D version, 3D version. This thing is just infinitely cool. And I think we're getting right into drawing it. But there again, it is also within the flower of life. This is the star tetrahedron. I think we looked at this for a minute. This is the bones, right? The bones of the flower of life. And then the yellow one, you can see on the outside, is the cuboctahedron, right? You have your large version of the vector equilibrium. And then inside, just like with the tetrahedrons and the hexahedrons, inside is a smaller vector equilibrium, because this is a scaling geometry, right? It can extend kind of infinitely out. I don't know why this, I think, oh, that's when we're going into the seed. We don't need to do that. So that's going to go away. And then I'm coming off of the screen share. Does that give a general, it's just like the silliest little, like, oh, here's the geometry of space-time. It's kind of ridiculous to do that. But does it come across that that point of singularity is very significant in terms of expanding our consciousness to contemplate infinity, right? Infinity, that's a great emphasis. Like with renormalization, you know, brushing 90% of reality under the rug, these parts of us, this extraordinary capacity that we have, has been contained. And these shapes invite us to contemplate infinity. We are infinite beings. We do not contemplate infinity. So as you start to invite the idea of infinite potential, you're restructuring, you're repatterning, you're opening the prisons that have been limiting us, right? We have these constructs, and they say, focus on the material world, focus on the 4 elements. Don't pay attention to that 99.999% of space, which holds infinite amounts of energy. It's all coming together, right? Like, just blow your synapses out, contemplate yourself as an infinite being, contemplate an infinite universe, and you're like, sorry, but you're going to blow your brain. So that's terrible, blow your minds, right? So that's what we're doing here. If you feel a little bit like fuzzy, great. We're just going to draw the vector equilibrium, which you can do with a fuzzy brain. And we're going to jump right into it. So new page, landscape orientation. Compass is going to be 2.5 inches wide, right? 2.5-inch radius. It's going to give us a seed that just barely fits on the page. So we're going to make sure to measure to the center of the page, right? 5.5 inches in. Nice wide radius on our seed. Compass that's going to give us the seed. All right. Lost Tiffany. That's great. I'll come find her. Okay. So let me get that.
What was the compass measurement?
Yes, 2.5 inches wide. Let me get, where's my vector equilibrium? What, things just disappear. That's very frustrating. Fortunately, I can find them fairly easily. When I say they disappear, it's really just user error, and they've done something wonky. So going for the seed of life, and by now we're all professionals. 2.5 inches wide on your compass. You want to measure to the center of the page because it is a large shape. If we're not precise with the center, it's easy to go off of the top or bottom. That being said, you can still get the shape even if you do that. So a nice, big, juicy seed of life, taking a breath, enjoying the process, taking a sip of water, remembering that we have bodies connected to these cognitive, cerebral, genius on some level for surviving this world, but overemphasized in terms of our existence. So getting into the body with the breath as we're using our brain to draw the seed of life, incorporating all of the elements, right and left hemisphere, masculine and feminine, all of it being harmonized, the cellular structure of your body being turned on. So much is happening. And I can't see you guys, which means I optimize my videos. So I'm going to come out of the screen share and I'm going to unoptimize my video so that I can see you guys while we're doing the seed. Great. Okay. And notice in yourself, notice how, if it feels different. Right now you can just do a seed of life. You've got the idea. And so there's a sense of like accomplishment that's growing, right? Like I've got a little bit of a skill set here. I know what this is. And that echoes into life, right? Everything that we're experiencing with the art translates, right? When we choose to focus on the things we love about the things we don't like about it, it's a meditation, and there's a meta practice of the same thing in life. Focusing on the positive, the acceptance, the non-judgmental, the imperfection, the breath work, all of it is a practice in mindfulness, bringing your awareness into your process, witnessing what arises, right? Profound stuff. Here we go. We've got this one, looks like. So we're going to work with, these are the points we're going to be working with, right? So on the top divot, right? We're going to work with the divots on the outside, top divot, and then these 2 points of the inner petals, right? Inner circle, the tiny petals, the tips of those, and then the divot right across from it. All right. So if you want to darken those in, that might help you find them, right? Because now what we're going to do is we're going to connect them. We're going to draw a double terminated crystal. Right, so the outer points, we're working with the outer divots of the circles. And you're going to bring straight lines from those outer divots down to the points of the petal of the inner circle. I can sit here and say all of this, but just look at the thing and draw that. You know, it's tricky to give coordinates, but you just replicate and eyeball it. And I didn't mention that we were going to use a color, did I? I'm getting a little tired. So you can use a color. You can use 4 different colors if you want to, this being the first color. And it just makes the shapes pop a little bit, but you do not have to do that by any means. You'll get the shape either way. So you will see me doing different colors. It's all really fun, right? It's all however you want to do it. All right. Just noticing a couple, just checking on a couple people. Good. All right. Heads are up. Looks good. Now we're going to, just like with the Metatron's cube, right? We're going to do a different diagonal axis, right? We're going to flip to the right and we're going to use the same points, right? Outer point of the divots and then points on the inner petals, right? So if you darken those in, that makes it a little bit easier. And then we're doing the exact same shape, only on the other axis, right? So I do another color. If you'd like, you can choose another color. I'm sorry, didn't I give you the heads up for the different colors? I will practice being perfectly imperfect. Double terminated crystal, again, the shapes of the natural world in here. Super, super cool. Love this shape. And you can't tell yet, but again, all of these lines are going to be equidistant. Equidistant and equal length. Vector equilibrium. All right, looking around at everybody. Don't want to rush you. It's fun because it's the same shape on all 3 axes. Okay. Still got the rulers going. No rush. Okay. Ah, nice deep breath. Brooke has disappeared entirely. 120-pound dog. That's a lot of dog. All right. Okay, so we've got it. I'm gonna come out of screen share. Anybody else need another minute? We all got it? All right, got one more line with summer, okay. Go. I'm gonna rush it, we got it. And on the next one, we're gonna use the third color, just because we're gonna stay with the color piece. All right. Look, summer, go, heads up, we're ready? Okay. Last color, right? Last color, if you're using color, if you decided to do that. And we're gonna work on the horizontal axis, right? We've got that same design. We're gonna use the outer divots of the circles. And then we're highlighting the inner tips of those, the tips of the inner petals in the inner circle. And then with that third color, you're gonna do a horizontal plane, right? Horizontal axis, third color, creating a third plane of dimension. Yeah. All right. How's it going? All right, we're almost there. This shape is it's so fun and quick, and it's just yummy, a yummy shape. All right. Yeah, that one. Don't want to rush you. I think by this time I'm out of stuff to say. I won't say that. I'm out of the side conversation. I'm forgetting to do the colors. I'm dropping off. I'm fading. I'm done. I maybe got 10 minutes and maybe don't. So all right. I can't tell. Some heads are up, some heads are down. So I don't want to rush. We're doing this last shape. And then we're going to get into the fourth color after this. We're going to move away from this double terminated crystal shape. So like I was saying, the colors are fun, but I will say it's also really cool in just one color, right? In just one color. And this is another really fun one to take a picture of because it's going to look really different. All right, I'm going for it. I'm going to move on to the fourth color and the next step. Summer, are you okay? Because I can see you're still working on it. All right, just got our last line. Okay, thumbs up. Trying not to rush. All right, so last color, if you're working with color, we're going to draw a hexagon that connects the tips, right? We're nice and familiar with hexagons now, connecting the tips and the points of those stars, right? And all of the geometry is just so cool because it's inviting you to see the shapes in the third dimension, even though it's 2D, right? Like for me, I can see the 3 golden rectangles on an angle, right? You've got the downward facing one, then the 2 on the top, right and left. And so my brain's used to seeing it and it just pops even without the rest of the lines. So we're doing the boundary and then we're going to do the inside, but not quite yet. All right. Boundary looking good. Getting that back. Now I jumbled up the last slide because I erased the seed. So ultimately mine will look a little bit different, but you'll see what it looks like without the seed, which is really cool. And then we'll take a look at what everybody's done. All right. Got that hexagon, got the outer boundary. Okay, using the same color. We're going to draw, whoopsies, we're going to draw lines that bisect those crystals that we did, right? So lines that cut the shape from hexagon point to hexagon point, right? Divot of the circle to divot of the circle, center cut through the shape, 3 lines, right and left diagonal, yeah?
Is that with the fourth color?
That's the same color. Yeah, fourth color. It's the same color that we just did the hexagon in.
Okay.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, no pressure. Like it could be anything at this point. We've survived the day. It could be any color it wants to be. All right. So same color is what I used. And, just going through the center, you can see you're going in between the petals, right? We're not using the petals at this point. And yep, I won't go too fast there. So we're going to do the next step and it's going to be the same color as well. And for the next step, Yep. All right. Just finding the third line. Yep. The next step, we're going to actually use the petals on the inner circle. They're going to guide us, right? So we're going to use the inner petals, right? And it's also the points of the inner star. What we're going to do with the same color is draw lines. I can see a couple heads still down, so I don't want to rush it. But we're going to draw the inner smaller lines, and that'll give us the last sets of lines. Here we go. And this is the one where, sorry, I erased the seed. I got way too ambitious, but we want a couple more lines, right? And sorry, they're going to look like this, right? This is a bisecting line on the vertical, right? Top to bottom. It's the point of the inner star to the point of the lower star in the center and the inside. You're using the flower petals, right? You're cutting the flower petals in half from tip to tip. And that's it, right? So this looks a lot different than what you've got, so I apologize. This is what it looks like with the seed erased. But you'll find it, you've got the structure. You're cutting the shape across on the inner points. You're using the petals to cut the cross sections, and that gives you the shape. And yours will have the seed behind it, but this geometry is open enough where you can erase the seed to get it to look like this. All right. Got some heads up looking at the screen. I want to see, did people get it? Did we make it happen? Thumbs up. All right, let's see. Summer, let's hold it up. I want to see it. Spotlight that awesome thing. Look at that thing. What do you think?
That was fun.
Fun and fast, right?
Yeah, we used the same colors.
Oh, nice, right? Because they contrast and you can see them, and oh, beautiful. Nice and sharp there.
Yeah.
What do you
I liked drawing the crystal shapes.
Yeah. I'm super buzzing on your center point too. It's like I can really see like the convergence. I love it. Yeah. Love it.
It almost feels like it's spinning a little.
Yeah, spinning with 3D, but way more than a 2D, right? It's like an actual shape. Yeah. You can be a little bit altered on this stuff. Like if it's coming out, that's normal, which is an interesting thing to say. But brilliance, that's nice and sharp. Anybody else want to share theirs? How's it going? Last few. All right. All right. Mike said a thumbs up. Nope. All right. Let me see. Woo, nice thin lines. Hang on a second. Oh my goodness. And you erased this. Oh no, the seed's just really light. It's that zoom camera again. What do you think?
Cool stuff. Cool beans.
Oh, that, like, I would just take that snippet right there. Like, what do you think? Cool stuff. That's just right. All right, beautiful. Anybody else want to share your process or your thoughts about it or the geometry? Oh, hang on, Alicia. Let me spotlight you. Oh, brilliant. It's a smaller one. I love it. What do you think?
Yeah, when you had said 2.5, it went completely off my paper. Did I mishear that?
2.5 inches wide. Yeah, usually keeps you on the page.
So when I did that, it was this big.
I can't see.
I guess it would probably maybe fit on there. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. It'll stay on the page. Yep. Yep.
All right. So mine's just a little baby one.
But I love it when they go small too, because it happens a lot. Look at that. How, ooh, goodness. So fun with that singularity.
What did I just draw?
Oh yeah. So this is it has two names. One is the vector, meaning line, right? Vector, and then equilibrium. So EQUILIBRIUM. Equilibrium. I think.
And that's the same as the cube.
Yep, cube octahedron, right? Because it's a cube and an octahedron mashed up together. vector
Okay, great.
equilibrium, cube octahedron, shape of 0 point energy right there. You've harnessed the structure of space-time tonight on a regular Wednesday night.
Imagine
All
what
right.
Thursday's gonna bring.
Just a regular Wednesday night. All right. Andrew's rocking the cameraman. I love it. I so appreciate the teamwork there. Andrew, you got thoughts? Any perspective, or are you just hanging out and doing well right alongside Alicia?
Hanging out and doing well.
Right on. I was such a mouthful. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I even saying? Thank you so much. All right, Jill, I've been seeing you look at your piece. Do you want to share it? No pressure. I just love seeing people's stuff. Yeah.
Here
Yay.
it is.
Hang on. I'm coming. Oh my gosh. What do you think?
I have to look at it pretty, just kind of relax my eyes, and then I'll start to see some of the shapes.
I mean, gee, that looks great though. Are you happy with how it came out?
Yes, I am. Yeah. And I love drawing all those lines.
Awesome. I love lines too. I just find the stopping and the starting very satisfying. Yeah. But you know how in the beginning everybody was talking about sort of just leaving leaving their drawings out, right? Like if you leave it out and then you kind of, you're walking by and you take a look at it, right? It starts to come after a little time to see the different dimensions. Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep at it. Sometimes it's not right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the neurons need to fire in a different way and it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All
Well
right.
done. Yeah. All right. Got a couple more. Leiko, you want to share yours? Madeline, Carly, you hanging out still? All right, Madeline. Yeah, let's see it.
I didn't get the cut. My colors weren't sharpened and they kept breaking. So I just have
Oh my gosh.
just lines, just one color, but I kind of like it because no matter, I can reset my brain for different points without.
Yeah.
that.
It opens up even more dimensionality, right? To not have the color.
I want color, but I do like this. I like this though. There's something about this. This shape is very cool.
Yeah. This one usually zings a lot of people. This is the one I started out the class by selling the story. So we do this in class 3. One of the series that I used to do, we did it in class 3. And this was the woman who she started the series by saying, someone told me I could talk to my dead husband with sacred geometry. And, she was just going along, what's going to happen? And 3rd class, we drew the vector equilibrium. She went home and she drew it. And through that point of singularity, she accessed a higher state of consciousness and her psychic ability. And she started talking with her husband. And it was just profound. I mean, you can imagine it was life altering. So this shape can do things. They're just, like.
This shape kind of gives me tingles on the back of my neck.
All right, good.
In a good way.
Good. That's a good sign. I want to invite you to sleep with it under your pillow tonight. Always a fun practice. See what happens. Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you.
I love it. All right, Leiko's got her blur on. Let's see it. Let me spotlight you. Tilt your top down a little. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, the way the camera does it. Oh my gosh. What do you think?
Love it.
Love it.
Great.
Right.
Yeah. I really like this shape. I like it. Also looks like isn't there like a Japanese sashiko pattern? I think it's called like asa no hata or something like that. It's like a symbol for hemp in like Japan stitching traditional.
Oh, wow.
Sashiko.
I never knew that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, it's in there. So I like it.
Oh, I love it. It's sometimes this is just, and it's so easy, right? You just do, and then you've got a geometry. And I love doing it at the end. And a lot of people are like, oh, I really like this one. It's really kind of things. Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay. Anybody else? Carly, just want to congratulate you again on the day if you're still there. But I want to thank everybody for being here and doing such an amazing job and showing up in life, showing up for the class, showing up for yourself. Nice deep breath, and then we'll come together and close. Next week is the flower of life, I think. 1, 2, 3, for yes. And oh, next week might be the phi ratio. We might be taking a break from the structure of the seed and kind of shaking things up. I think next week is the phi. Super cool, totally different experience. And then after that, I think we do the flower. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for bringing yourself and your presence and contributing to the richness of this class. And see you next week. I'll email everything. I'll email that picture. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.